Ready. Go.
You
Ready. Go. Ready. Go. Ready. Go.
つまんないです散々ね奇跡願ってるだけの人生 What you do to do to do スイッチトリックなしとマジ Only free だってまだフリーだしヘリタクシーちょっと宇宙まででもしようは音だけで夜をせかすあのものよ人生は一瞬にして時の幕それなら駆け抜けておいどいおしゃまなのシャツ色でジャギ足を大変身メイクアップあるままのワイワイきらめきについてさらに待ってダンシングさよならグッバイレッドガンいつかは関西クラブオーディエンスに涙ごつあれこんがらって無償化いからシューズされてないこんなに朝のないなら自分の我慢がちでしょどんな問題も会話開く私も正解も間違いもあいつ本当の私の理性なんで世界は限界の気配が捨ておたま安心じゃ心配 I'm so jumping now 水滴バンバン石バンバンいいダクダクに聞き換えなく日々ギリギリ爆発気味だった今発散してしまおうかまだまだビビりなんか君になんか一発じゃ打ち足りないわ君に導き出した君になんかハイになるまで踊ってよおしゃれな作品を手に味もない変身メイクアップわがままマリマリきらめきにちょいちょいさらっと待ってダンシングさよならグッバイレッドガンいつかは関西クラブオーディエンスに涙もうすあれこんがらって無償化いからシューズされてないこんなに朝もないならば自分にとったもん勝ちでしょ
Sweetie bubbles. Bye byes. Bye byes.
A YouTuber on the rise driven to murder, an entire family gunned down in cold blood, and a sinister plot to take the lives of at least 70 more. On today's episode of Morbid Reality, we document the rise and fall of Trey Sessler, better known by the internet as Mr. Anime. Trey Eric Sessler was born on August 8, 1989 to a loving family comprised of his mother Rhonda, father Lawton Gray, and a single older brother named Mark.
I just closed out
As
a
Trey
bunch of
grew
stuff.
older,
Whoopsies.
he soon realized that
Bring
he
him
had
back
a
up.
passion for film.
Get back up
And it's
here,
this
stupid
very love for
applications.
the craft that led to the eventual creation of his YouTube channel LensCap Productions in
Alright,
September
he's
of
giving me the go-ahead.
2006. There, Trey posted numerous short films and skits, some even featuring his mother and brother. It was precisely a year and 5 days later that Trey announced he would begin shifting his channel's primary focus to another passion of his: animation, specifically of the Japanese variety. From this day on, Trey Sessler would be known as Mr. Anime, one of the founding members of the anime reviewing community on YouTube, and according to many, an inspiration for similar channels to come. It's during this period when a third passion of Trey's became apparent: his love of firearms. Over the next 5 years, Trey would deliver review after review, discussing everything he knew and loved about anime, while also occasionally uploading gun-themed skits and even a few weapons demonstration videos. None of this, of course, was cause for concern amongst Trey's fanbase. Sure, he may have been a weapons enthusiast, but Trey himself openly condemned gun violence in a 2009 rant video in which he discussed the media buzz surrounding mass shootings that were taking place in the US at the time.
Hey everybody, Season 2 here, and today I'm ranting on something a little bit... Right? Yes, I'm ranting on something a little bit anime unrelated. I'm ranting on all the shootings that have been happening. I'm a firearms owner myself, but it is a little bit disturbing to know that you could be a victim in something like this at these times. All the people that were victims, you think it won't happen to me, but sometimes it does. But seriously, every day I open Yahoo, I'm like, well, time to see what today's shooting is, and hey, there's another one. So I don't know when it's gonna stop. I think it's why, but what can I say?
On May 13th of 2012, Trey uploaded a video titled Mr. Anime's New Job. In it, he details how he just found full-time employment for an unnamed production company thanks to the work he had been doing at home. He also reassured his audience that while uploads may be slowing down, that the channel was in great health and that he had no plans of quitting YouTube anytime soon. This, unbeknownst to Trey and his fans alike, would be the last time he was seen on camera as a free man. Just 1 week following Trey's update, horrifying accusations sent shockwaves throughout YouTube's anime community.
If you haven't heard, Trey Sessler, aka Mr. Anime, has been arrested for suspicion of, he's been arrested and charged with murdering and shooting and murdering his mother, his father, and his brother.
It turns out that in the early hours of March 20th, 2012, Trey Sessler had snapped. The murder spree began with Trey's mother, whom he lured to the garage before mercilessly firing into her chest 4 times, causing her to collapse in front of him. From inside the house, Trey's brother Mark began to call out, complaining about the noise. It's then when Trey swiftly made his way back into the home, passing his brother in the hallway before re-emerging from his room with a different gun and delivering 2 shots. Mark, although wounded, managed to crawl into the nearby bathroom and to lock the door as Trey began to make his way to their parents' bedroom, where their barely conscious father had been resting. After shooting his father twice, Trey decided to retrace his steps, later admitting to police that he wanted to ensure that his family was in fact dead and that no one was suffering from their injuries. Trey then broke down the bathroom door and delivered the final blows to his brother, who had been curled up on the floor in the fetal position. Shortly after the killings, Trey continued his rampage, tearing the house apart piece by piece and scribbling apology letters on the walls and doors, one of which read, "Why did I do this? I love my mom, dad, and brother." Police were later sent over to the Sessler residence by concerned relatives, and soon discovered the family's corpses. Trey, however, was nowhere to be found. Later that day, Trey was finally located and arrested, and it's then that even more disturbing details began to emerge. According to Trey himself, he'd been plotting a mass murder, claiming that he had plans to open fire on his old high school campus, possibly during a homecoming event. Other versions of his plan included running a car into the school's cafeteria or opening fire on a local festival that took place each year. Trey began to explain to officers that he had thought about these plans in great detail, and even studied the crimes of past mass murders to piece together his own perfect plan, a foolproof plot to take out as many as he possibly could, with an ultimate goal of ending at least 70 lives. He noted how each mass murder had their strengths and weaknesses, even going as far as to organize a detailed rating system based on effectiveness, weapons used, and the total number of victims killed. It's because of this plan, Trey noted, that his family had to be killed. That way, they wouldn't have the burden of shame brought about by his actions. Just a few hours after killing his family, Trey found himself in the parking lot of nearby Wallace Junior High School, armed with an assault rifle and hundreds of rounds. This, as he put it in a later interview, was his opportunity to carry out what he had been planning for so long. Trey, however, ultimately didn't go through with his plan, later telling police it was because everything had gotten, quote, too real. Although Trey had been planning to commit mass murder for quite some time, the slaying of his family, however, seemed almost completely unplanned. When questioned by police about whether or not Trey had an argument of sorts at home before the killings, Trey said, "If I would have woken up that day and you would have come to me and asked, 'Are you going to kill your family tonight?' I would have definitely said no." So far, no real motive has been established, and Trey has since pleaded guilty to his crimes and is currently serving a life sentence without the possibility of parole. He's noted many times how he'll never be able to forgive himself for his actions, and how he feels as though he deserves to be behind bars. Before this video ends, I'd like to give a huge thank you to each and every one of my patrons. As you probably already know, YouTube has recently been demonetizing both true crime and horror content, so if you'd like to help support the channel, you can do so by visiting my Patreon linked below. Any amount is greatly appreciated and goes a long way. With all that being said,
we had some bad pieces, but GG's, dude. I hope we can face each other in another time, like a finals, like we were supposed to. We had 2 chances to go into the finals, but then Riker manages to beat me, and then Snowy decides to just whip something out of his skill and just dominate. And I almost avenged Ethan, but unfortunately